Hello, my name is Dietmar from Kontroling Academy in Munich, and I'm happy to announce the upcoming event in Zagreb about fixed cost controlling. First of all, I would like to express what is the challenge of controlling of overheads, controlling of fixed costs in a company. Therefore, I've put a cost center sheet on this flip chart where we can see the type of costs, and of course we start with personnel and personnel related. Then we'll have other costs like travel expenses, office supply, telephone, whatsoever. And here in the columns we would see the different, let's say, cost center managers. When it comes to a typical cost center of administration, the question is, what is the type of costs which is the most important, the biggest one? And of course, I would guess that 80 to 90% of all the total costs of one cost center and of each of these cost centers will be in between 80 and 90%, sometimes even more if there's no traveling and nothing like that. So it's clear, I believe, that the management focus, of course, is on headcount, because this is 90% of the total budget of this cost center manager. And here's the problem at the same side, because if I'm the manager here and I have planned 7 people on my cost center, and in actual I have 7 people on my cost center, so what? There's no variance. There's no variance signal. So I as a manager feel happy and say, oh, fine, I have planned 8 and there are 8, so everything fine. What we controller do then is we are coming along and there's budgeted headcount is actual headcount. We start then our variance analysis on, from the manager's point of view, peanuts on office supply, the famous toilet paper actually, discussing things where they must somehow feel annoyed because this is 5-10% of their total budget, and they say, so what? My time costs more than anything. So very often this is somehow the excuse that nothing is done, or people say, well, this is personnel, fixed personnel, anyway here, you know these sentences. But I still believe there's a lot of things we can improve when it comes to overheads and fixed costs in the fixed cost area. Because I think it's important, thinking of the fixed costs, we are using a symbol which is a snail. We call this the fixed cost snail, because when you look at a snail, the snail looks at if the snail doesn't move. But slowly, time by time, obviously also the snail goes ahead quite a lot. And this is somehow with the fixed costs. They're not fixed. From year to year it's getting more and more somehow. And until somewhere in the management they would see, there's too many fixed costs, and then as a thunderstorm is coming up, cost saving programs are launched, something like that. But how effective are they? Very often the snail then regrowth, goes back into the house and covers against the thunderstorm. And so after the thunderstorm, the snail is relaxed, people are coming out from their houses, surface is still wet, so they can catch up now. And this is very often what you can see, that the costs are bouncing back, let's say, and the effect is not often very long lasting. So we want in this particular event to focus on tools and instruments which give us an opportunity to improve effectiveness but also efficiency of our structure of our fixed costs. So one topic we are going to start with is the influenceability, or let me put it, the controllability of costs. So first we will discuss which costs are short-term influenceable, which are long-term influenceable, and how to increase the flexibility, the controllability of costs as a very important issue. Second, we're talking about cost life cycle as well. If you look at the processes from the beginning to the end, where do costs occur and how to manage. We're going to the topic of cost benchmark, which is a good learning opportunity as well. What can we learn from others? We are going to look at the type of costs in particular. I call it the cost category management, in the sense of what about the totals of my cost of type here. So while the individual cost of type for the individual single manager might be peanuts, the total sum of travel expenses or the total sum of electricity spending whatsoever might be pretty important for the company. And let's have a look on how to, let's say, control in the sense of steering these type of costs. And sharing of resources will be also a big topic inside this title. And then we will introduce two more bigger instruments. The one is called zero-based budgeting, which I like pretty much when it comes to admin areas. We are talking about service levels. Which is the service level I want to provide, looking to the overall objective of the company. Where are standards of performance? Where can we measure somehow the output and performance in these areas? It's again talking about which activities are effective in the sense of helping us to achieve a target, and are they efficient enough? And when we are talking about efficiency, then of course activity-based costing must be on the agenda as well. It's about process transparency, which we are going to create with the so-called swim lane method. It's about process optimization as well, and finding out what is the efficient cost of a certain activity, of a certain process here, which is a big part forward to get fixed cost under your control. So it's plenty of topics for a compact day, and I'm looking forward to see you in Zagreb.